This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Off the Break Podcast, your podcast dedicated to current movie theater news, operations, and insights from the people that book the movies. I'm Ken, and with me, as always, are Cody and Kyle.
Hello.
Hey, what a beautiful week we've had this week, guys.
A beautiful week of it being absolutely quiet in the industry.
Super quiet. Our little to go over list is so tiny, and I love it. It's going to be a quick podcast.
Oh, this is a breath of fresh air. We had a larger than expected opening of Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
Yes.
so good.
And we've got things on the horizon, like
Yep.
actual releases.
Oh, yeah.
Separation this week, Spiral and Those Who Wish Me Dead upcoming.
On the 14th. But don't forget Wrath of Man on the 5/7.
Yes, Wrath of Man. I forgot a movie on the release schedule. How awesome is that?
Yeah.
How
There's so
awesome
many
is that?
you can forget.
You can actually skip them by accident now. It's not like we have
Instead of searching.
we have Unhinged. The end. Period. End of sentence.
And that's it.
Yeah. So we have Wrath of Man on the 7th. We've got Spiral and Those Who Wish Me Dead on the 14th. Dream Horse on the 21st. And then Quiet Place 2 and Cruella. And that rounds out our May.
That'll be a good month.
Yeah.
Knock on wood for anything to change in that month, but I think it's going to be good. It's going to be smooth sailing this next month.
Yeah, do it with me, folks.
Yeah.
Kyle put it out there in the universe.
Oh, get ready. We got to knock on some wood more when we talk about booking strategies.
Yeah, Cody
Cross
did,
all your fingers right now.
Cody did a thing again.
Yeah, I did do a thing again. Well, before we get into the things I've done, let's talk upcoming release changes. Just get it out of the way. Is there any? Have things changed?
Things have changed. First off, from Sony, they announced that Escape Room 2 is no longer on its January 7th release date. It's now bumped up to July 16th of this year.
Which is, I mean, amazing. I will always take a movie bumped up, but they bumped it up to the same week as they have Cinderella. So that makes me now very worried about Cinderella's fate, because there's just no way Sony's going to release two films on the same day.
No, they just forgot it was there at Sony.
Yeah.
Just a momentary lapse
It's
in
very
judgment.
possible that as soon as they release, like, have the press release for it, they look back and they're like, oh, wait.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Whoops.
I don't.
Was the person in charge of a certain sales department on vacation?
Yeah. I don't think that they're going to sell Cinderella to streaming. I don't, Vivo made sense because there was zero marketing materials. I mean, they've come out and said that Cinderella is an important franchise film for Sony, so I just don't see them doing anything with it other than now moving it back.
It will probably be moved back. It was a bit unfortunate that Vivo got sold to Netflix because it was an animated kids movie, and I believe it was made by Lin-Manuel Miranda, like he was a producer on it or something. Mm-hmm. So it could have been like something really fun and interesting and different for kids to see at theaters, but that one we lost this week.
Yeah, because Sony has really pushed the boundaries of animation, and you can see it, unfortunately, in the Mitchells vs. Machines. That was supposed to be a Sony release last year, and they sold it to get some cash infusion. And you see the ads for it now, and it just looks so interesting. The animation is so different from what you're seeing other places.
Same with Spider-Verse before this.
Spider-Verse was...
They've been pushing the boundaries. They can't do what Disney does.
Right.
But they can do something very good.
And they can do it different, and that's what they're doing. And it's just really crappy that another animated title that's an original from them, that's not, unfortunately, Hotel Transylvania #4, is going to streaming again.
Yeah. But at least it seems like Cinderella probably just be pushed back and not sold. Escape Room 2, it's good. I just have not seen the first one, so I don't know if it was a good movie or not. Hopefully they were.
Yeah, that was back, I think it released in January of 19.
Maybe. That sounds right. You could have said any release date and I would have been like, yeah, sure. July 32nd. Okay, why not?
I think it was a January release. I remember that because We just come off of Christmas, and it surprisingly did really well. That's kind of a dumping ground, is that right after Christmas week, but it held for several weeks past that, and that's why that always stuck out. That's why they had moved it to original January 2022 release, and I think it was perfectly positioned there. I'm really a little surprised that they moved it up
2 weeks
into a
after
summer
Forever Purge.
Yeah.
Which seems like give that some room to breathe, so that doesn't cut into any of your ticket sales.
Right.
There's plenty of time to place these horror movies.
Yeah. We're getting a lot of horror this summer. I think that's just what they were super easy to make, and I think they were easy to finish during the pandemic, and so that's what we're getting right now.
Yeah, and they're just cheaper made. They're cheaply made, most of them anyway, and it's easy to make money back. And especially after a pandemic year, studios are wanting money back as quickly as possible.
Yeah. What else we got for a change?
Lionsgate announced the movie The Protege, which used to be called The Asset, is now being released August 20th, 2021. It used to be kind of in limbo, not have a release date for a while, but now it's looking like it will be on the release calendar this year. Excuse me.
Yes.
August is getting pretty full, though. I mean, didn't Free Guy and stuff move to August?
It was already full. We talked about that last week, how full the film companies were saying August was, and Lionsgate says, hold my beer.
Yeah. Thanks, Lionsgate.
But I believe it's a action thriller, supposed to have Samuel L. Jackson and Michael Keaton in there, so there's some big names there, and maybe it could draw a crowd. Hopefully the trailer is good. We haven't seen that yet, but that might be coming at least in the next few months.
It's a smart idea, changing your film title from The Asset to anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably the smart title, the smarter way to go.
Unless this is The Spy starring Melissa McCarthy, I would stay away from any titles with ass in it unless it's Jackass.
Right. Unless if it's on purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all we got. It's, once again, or at least as we're recording, it's pretty quiet on the release calendar.
We're recording a little earlier in the afternoon because I don't care about changes right now. I just want to get out to the weekend. We finally have nice weather.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to have it for one day because tomorrow it's supposed to rain. So.
Yeah. So let's
get
hope
moving
for a fun weekend, and let's get out of here.
Yeah, they want to cut it short too because I wore my Speedo to the office today. So
he does that every once in a while. I'm used to it, but it really freaks Kyle out.
It's a bit much.
And anybody within a 3-block radius when they see the whites of my legs.
Just your legs?
Yeah.
Not the white of your belly?
Yeah.
Your backside?
Moving on.
Out. Okay, so booking strategies. Okay, this is where we need to knock on wood, cross our fingers. I have most of my May pre-booked.
Oh, no.
People, I know, but it's ruthless out there. You got to get dates in early because print counts are low on a lot of these titles.
Yeah, but we see this trend with you where you get too eager, you fill up all the bookings, and then something big happens.
I know, I tried not to, but Paramount got really after me last week about getting Quiet Place 2 dates in.
When's the last time you booked a movie 6 weeks ahead of the schedule? The last time? Mulan? No, it wasn't Mulan. It was something. It was Quiet Place was coming up on the bookings. They wanted to take dates in 2020.
So that was the last time. And
it may have been the last time.
And then everything hit the fan.
Yeah, so Paramount, they were the ones that really nudged me. And so I was like, oh no, I haven't even made a worksheet out for the week of the 28th, May 28th. So I'm like, okay, so I diligently make worksheets for every week. And so I had to make all the worksheets out to that point. I can't just make it for that week because I got to see now. If they forced my hand into strategizing what I was going after, I was trying to take it a week at a time. So blame Paramount if anything happens because they made me do my worksheets. But now I've got everything. I got my stuff in. So
well, at least unlike previous times, it does seem like Paramount is going to stick to their release date. I believe. They're supposed to really ramp up marketing and deliver marketing assets in the next couple of days, maybe even next week. Mm-hmm. So check on silverscreeninsider.com, our website, in case if we do have all those marketing assets from them finally, they should be on the website on A Quiet Place Part 2's page.
Yes, definitely check it out. So I'm very confident because now I have all my locations booked that we are going to get Quiet Place 2 on May 28th.
I'm very confident because if Paramount doesn't release a movie Now there's going to be a lot of changes with personnel.
Yeah.
they've got to release an actual movie. We did some VOD stuff this summer, or last summer, but now's time.
Now's time.
Put a movie out there.
No, it'll be good. And I got, Lionsgate's got confirmed Spiral, so I got those. Still waiting a little bit on Warner's, but I don't think I'll have a problem with Those Who Wish Me Dead. And
Warner's has been putting film after film after film.
They're
out,
a little
so
they're a little overwhelmed because they're doing so good right now, and
little trigger
so that's
happy.
to be expected.
But we'll take it.
And my Wrath of Mans have been booked for a couple weeks now, so it's starting to, the momentum is starting to come back. But I'm ahead of the game, and I'm feeling good going into May. Like, I'm very optimistic now.
It has felt at least more normal for the industry, I feel like. I mean, there's still a long ways to go, but it is getting there, and that feeling is starting to creep back in. I noticed that especially this week as well. There was just and it was because of May's schedule right now. May just looks so good, and we've been seeing a lot of movement with all those movies coming out.
It's looking better. At first I was a little worried, but I think with Mortal Kombat, with Godzilla, Immortal, and then Demon Slayer also in the mix, having done so well, I'm a lot more confident going into the next few weeks in May. I think Wrath of Man will do great.
Wrath of Man's another R, but with a star this time.
Right. I think it's going to bridge the gap, and then into two different films with Spiral and Those Who Wish Me Dead, both R's, but
they're both A titles.
Yeah.
A+ titles
They are.
in the case of Spiral for certain markets.
Oh yeah. I'm very excited for Spiral.
I'm just ready. I'm excited for Spiral too, but I'm very ready for A Quiet Place too, just because it's PG-13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and Cruella together.
True.
I mean, if
over
we could,
Memorial Weekend, the first real big weekend in summer.
Yeah.
if we could have one of those and an animation, it would be perfect. But we'll take these two. We'll take a Disney PG-13 and A Quiet Place, which was a huge hit, the original. So we looked that up the other day. It was $188 million on its initial release. So
did great.
Wow.
Hopeful for a no-name movie with a brand new director was very impressive.
Yeah, true.
No, so it's looking up this month, and then I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I had to kind of look at June. I didn't put anything in the system. I just had to take a look at it.
Just had a peek.
I just had a little peek because, I did 4 months. I like to stay I did 4 weeks. I like to stay 6 weeks ahead. And that put me into Spirit, Untamed, and Conjuring.
Right.
And then the next week was In the Heights. So, just heads up, we're going to be talking about this next few weeks. I think Warner's is going to have an issue because I can't give them in smaller screened locations 2 screens for Conjuring and for In the Heights. So they get one or the other, but they're not going to get both in some of these spots.
Uh-oh.
Preview of what's coming up on the horizon. Conflict. I've seen it. I looked ahead.
So there it is, folks. Soon to be an episode all about that.
Yes. We'll talk about it later when we get there. Get closer.
We don't need to get there
I don't need to put it in the system.
We don't need to get it in there right now.
But there's your tease. All. Yeah. So...
Yeah, if you're listening, Warner Brothers, leave it alone. Leave it the same. Speaking of the same thing, again and again and again, no updates with SVOG. Nope. Nothing's changed. There's no portal. It doesn't work. Everything doesn't exist.
No, the portal's up and running.
What?
They have taken, I think, something like 10,000 or so applications.
What?
Okay.
I think a lot of people are waiting now to apply, not on the first day. So I'm sure that more applications are trickling in.
Whoa.
But on the initial day it opened, there was something like a little over 1,000 theaters applied. That's not very much, people. Like, get your SVOG applications in. This is important. This is money that was set aside specifically for you and live venues, and you should be getting that SVOG grant application in as soon as possible.
It's grant money, which means it's free.
Yeah. Again, to reemphasize, take advantage of this. Like, this is going to be very helpful for your business. And just to prove even more so that we needed this for a reason, especially for our industry, and to show why our industry is so important. Because once it can get up and running, people are going to realize that they love the movie theaters much more than they ever thought so.
Exactly. And we need movie theaters to survive this. This is a great way to get a boost right now. Heading into summer, make sure that you're, current with all your expenses heading into the movie season. I just want to say that, yeah, get applications in. I know that they're going to process them by priority, but I think there has to be a little bit of an element of first come, first serve, and they don't know if the money's going to run out. And so you just try to get it in there as soon as possible. I wouldn't wait on this at all. I know you could wait like a day to see if the portal crashed, but it didn't. So
that's fair.
Get it in there.
Now's the time.
Yep.
Get it done. And if you need any help with this, we have helpful tidbits and cheat sheets to get pertinent information you need for your application on silverscreeninsider.com.
Plus, we have countless episodes of this podcast detailing this grant as well in the portal information. So go back and listen to those if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking to be entertained and educated,
right,
you can drink right along with us.
I think from the clients I heard, the consistent thing that was tripping up some people was they wanted a 4-digit DUNS number, but it wasn't your Duns and Bradstreet number. It was a DUNS 4 number. And apparently people only got this if they had 2 accounts that money was going into. And so when we asked SBA and we looked into it, they didn't really have an answer because it's a mandatory field. You have to fill in 4 numbers. And so some people did 4 zeros because they don't have another account that it could go into and they were never assigned this number. So you're going to have to take your best guess judgment, but that was a heads up on one spot that people did get tripped up on.
Good to know.
I think that was kind of it for and just keep close to that budget. I think the other spot that I heard that people got tripped on with the budget was because during the pandemic, some businesses who were able to, the ownership loaned the business money to cover costs until they could. And that loan, unfortunately, is not able to be repaid with SVOG. So all those expenses that they paid for the loan to keep current also you can't go back and pay those. And so there's a little bit of, all the money has to be spent by the end of this year. So you're using it for a partial year's budget this year. So that just got to be a little confusing about what you were using the money for. But I think that sucks that if, you had taken money out of your own pocket to try to make sure your business survived, you can't pay yourself back for it. Yeah. You can't take a bigger dividend than what you took in 2019. You can't, pay off a loan that you took after COVID hit. It's just, there's some nuance there that got people in some tricky situations, but otherwise, very smooth process so far this time around. All the documents loaded is from what I'm hearing.
No crashing.
No big major issues, a few little trip up areas, but really I only heard from a couple people. I haven't gotten that many phone calls, so the process was pretty smooth. Now I'm a little concerned that maybe I didn't get a lot of phone calls because people didn't apply. So I'm checking in with everybody.
Maybe I will call them.
Yeah, to make sure that they applied.
Yeah.
But hopefully it wasn't as bad as the first go around was in the first 20 minutes. So, Kyle.
Hello. Yes.
You watched Here today for a screener. What'd you think?
From Sony Pictures.
Yeah. We've got it coming up next week.
Yep. Coming out May 7th, starring Billy Crystal and Tiffany Haddish. Billy Crystal also wrote and directed this movie.
Is it his directorial debut?
No, he's directed movies for
other
a long
stuff.
Time.
Okay.
Yeah. But what I thought about it, I ended up enjoying this a lot more than I thought I would. I didn't really think that this movie was going to be my cup of tea necessarily. It didn't look bad at all. I think we talked about the trailer a week ago, and I said it actually looked pretty charming and engaging, but I just didn't think the subject matter or the story was really going to capture my attention all that much. But I ended up really enjoying this a lot more than I thought it would, and I think it just comes down to Billy Crystal's directing and understanding all the different themes and tones that he was trying to juggle within this. Like, on the one hand, it's, really funny and hilarious, but at the same time, there's also its heartbreaking moments as well. Largely due to the story being about Billy Crystal's character going through a form of dementia, and while he's able to have us laugh along with him when telling a story about a character with dementia. It's also able to showcase like the heartbreaking nature that comes with, developing and having dementia. So I really felt like he was able to do a good job at juggling, those different types of tones, and was able to do a good job having his form of comedy match well with Tiffany Haddish's, because they're very different comedians in their own right. But while Tiffany Haddish is able to do her normal comedy style, it's much more toned back, I think. And I think Billy Crystal was able to really have her go a little bit beyond her comfort zone and be able to give a much better, or one of her better performances, I think. So I thought it did a really good job with juggling a lot of those different themes and a lot of those different tones for a movie that I think is really worthwhile for just about anyone.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it with you. I watched some in the beginning, and then I watched the end, and popped in here and there. I was a little worried going into it that, no offense to Billy Crystal, but I thought that his comedy was dated and that it might not translate to like a modern sensibility. But I don't know if it was the pandemic or maybe what happened, but I felt that his style actually was much better at this time. Like it's not slapsticky, but he's just so clever and quick-witted. Yeah. And yet he was very heartfelt, and it was clean, and it wasn't like cruel in any way. And right. And I just felt like now was the time for that kind of clever, fun comedy that wasn't too silly or anything like that. And it just, I think he hit it out of the park with that. 'Cause there were some scenes that I watched that we laughed out loud on. It was just, he was so funny. And
some of the biggest laughs I've had in a while, really.
Yeah. And some of the things he said were just so clever and so funny. And it was just nice to get back to that, that dialogue comedy I really liked. And he brought Tiffany Haddish into that, because she can be a little slapstick and a little like crazy and out there. Mm-hmm. But he, like you said, he toned her down, brought her into that, and she has great timing. So they just played off each other, and they surprisingly had chemistry. It was nice.
Yeah, which is a big factor into this, because it's supposed to be these two unlikely people forming a friendship that is a bit abnormal, I would say, especially because of the age difference between the two. But it ends up working really well, and it becomes a story that talks about, love between people, not just, as a relationship love, but just as, a friendship. Right. And it also deals into other themes with regards to like family and forgiveness that I thought was really good. And I'm glad they brought up the comedy stuff as well, because there was a subplot within this story to where Billy Crystal was, kind of in a way explaining like any form of comedy, no matter in what time or what era or what have you, it can still work as long as you have the capabilities as a writer to make the joke funny. And and when I first saw that subplot like coming into play, I was worried that it was going to feel dated and was going to feel like, old man yelling at clouds type of feeling, but it really doesn't come across as that. It feels genuine, and it feels that it can match up with almost any era, especially that's because that's kind of the point, is that comedy is comedy. You just have to know your capabilities as a writer and make that comedy work.
Well, I'm sure he's had issues with this where people are dismissive of him. Be like, what you did was great 30 years ago, but it's different today. Right. And I think he proved that the astute comedian will be able to transcend the time. Will still be able to pick off themes that people can relate to nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, there's that relatability factor, and I think, he kind of proves that it can work because he used it with Tiffany Haddish. Yeah, Haddish had her moments of being able to use her style of comedy, but it was in the vein of Billy Crystal's direction and writing.
Yep.
So I think he kind of just proves his point right there, and he was able to capture a really well-balanced and really heartfelt story.
Yeah.
So you guys are saying it was great. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was... After we watched the screener, I was like, oh, Sony, you did not go wide enough with these prints. And granted, you can play it later, but we're starting to get into more product later. So unless you have a lot of screens, you're not going to really have a hole for it later. And I was just like, this one, I don't think will pop a big gross opening weekend because I don't think there's been enough national marketing for it. But I think it's going to have really good word of mouth. And so I think it's going to have that growth over time momentum where it might not open huge, but it'll have consistency.
Right. I mean, this is not the type of movie that's going to, have the big opening and have like the first 3 weeks be astronomical or whatever. Yeah. But it can be that type of movie that's at least good counter programming. It's at least for a different audience that's looking for maybe more subdued stories as compared to, the Godzillas and the Mortal Kombat.
Right.
So.
But they still want something like heartfelt and good and like just a happy.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of ends on a sad note, but you don't feel sad at the end of this movie. You don't walk away feeling like, oh, why did I watch that? That hurts my heart. You don't feel any of that walking away.
And that goes into play with, him balancing the tones really well. It's both heartbreaking and heartwarming.
So the important question is, Jack Palance in it?
That one flew over my head.
Yeah.
Curly from City Slickers?
No.
Okay, I pass. No
Isn't
thanks.
he dead?
What? Yeah, but people are dead all the time that show up in movies, Cody.
Like who?
Like everyone in Avengers Endgame comes back after they've been killed. It
I
happens.
think he's dead in real life, Ken.
Yeah, so is Tupac. But they keep releasing albums all the time.
Yeah. I guess there's a hologram now.
Yeah, I was going to say Tupac got his hologram.
Yeah.
They're releasing a George Romero movie next month, and he's been dead forever.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's news to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, for this movie, I think Sony should at least take the chance on releasing this wider.
They did add some prints.
That's good.
They've been under a tremendous amount of pressure to increase their print count. They did a little bit, not nearly enough. And you just hope that you can get it in off the break, that it will play. I think it'll play great in little towns off the break. That I'm not too worried about it. It's just finding the right week to get it in there.
Yeah, especially now that we're getting into the busy season.
Yeah, we're getting into some product.
This would have been a great movie 3 weeks ago. We had time for it.
Right.
PG-13. But,
that's true.
If we don't get it this weekend, it's going to be 2 weekends, and then
you got 1 week, really.
We've got 1 week before Cruella or Quiet Place.
This easily would have been better a few weeks ago instead of that movie Long Weekend. Do you guys remember that one from like March or February?
Womp womp.
Yeah, exactly. This movie would have been. It's in the same type of vein where not many people like on a wide range want to go see it, but the quality is better, I think.
We seem like Sony haters on this, but this one seems like they knocked it out of the park.
They did, yeah.
This was a good pickup for them. I just encourage
them to take advantage and really push this just a little more.
Yeah, because they got 2 good weeks now. Like from the 7th, they got the 7th and the 14th and the 21st. And then they're going to get hit hard on the 28th with those other 2 because Quiet Place and Cruella are going to be multi-screen openings.
Pump up the volume for 5/7, Sony.
Yeah.
We want this film.
Yeah.
We do. We watched it. It's good. We're big proponents of it. You can check out our full screening report at silverscreeninsider.com in the news and insights section. It's screening reports.
Plus, there also is a bunch of marketing assets for this movie now. Sony has finally released a whole bunch of them, and our website has pretty much all of those assets now at this point. So check out the Here Today page on silverscreeninsider.com for all of those.
Yep. So what's upcoming on the trailers? I got to admit, I didn't watch these. So Kyle said, what are we going to do for a podcast today? And he's like, you want to talk about trailers? I'm like, yeah, of course we want to talk about trailers. I'll watch them right now. And then I didn't. So you two let me know how these turned out.
We were being kind to Sony, and again, a Peter Rabbit trailer. You cannot screw up a Peter Rabbit trailer, right?
He's so cute.
I wouldn't say so.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm honestly, I'm kidding. I don't know, like it works, I guess. I wasn't sure what to expect out of a Peter Rabbit 2 trailer. It's, obviously not a movie for me, but it seems to be fun for kids. It seems to have, I don't know, it just seems to capture what the movie's trying to be, I guess. It seems to be doing the trick. I don't know.
It's
that's
cute.
all I got.
It lays out the plot, which isn't necessary in a Peter Rabbit 2 trailer. Just be cute, just be silly, and make $50 million opening weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all we needed to do.
Yeah.
What was West Side Story? Isn't that coming out in December.
What was West Side Story?
Yeah.
If I could snap my fingers,
It's coming out in December. It's a remake of the 60s West Side Story musical from Steven Spielberg. And they just released a teaser trailer during the Oscars. So this was like almost a week ago now at this point. But it just pretty much just teased the same sort of tones and the same sort of music that was from the original. But you just can see that it's with different actors and it's under Steven Spielberg's eye. And I think it's just supposed to like remind people of like the original movie. But I'm not sure if modern audiences really know about it outside of like musical fans probably. So I'm not too sure if it did the trick or not in selling it.
What's going to do better? In the Heights, which looks like an urban musical, versus West Side Story, which also to me looks like an urban musical.
Well, West Side Story is going to blow it away because it's at Christmas. It has 6 months of theaters opening, and then crowds coming in.
Yeah.
You've got that much time.
But I do feel like In the Heights is a lot more alive,
because it's got Lin-Manuel Miranda's music in it.
Exactly, and it looks more colorful. This color palette from West Side Story is a bit more muted, at least from the teaser that I saw. I just feel like that In the Heights looks like the more fun movie, the more entertaining movie as compared to West Side Story, which kind of from the teaser may look like a slog to people despite it being a musical, especially during like
a drama,
winter and Christmas. I'm not sure if that will quite work.
No, I agree. In the Heights looks like a better film.
Yeah.
The music in the trailer is better.
Yeah.
But I think it's just the timing of the whole thing. Would you rather have a movie now when we're starting to get crowds back and we're seeing $20, $30 million openings? But by Christmas, we should be seeing $50, $60, $70 million openings going through Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We should be seeing
We
that.
should be, but...
Hey, we're up there. We're positive.
Okay, I don't know if we'll ever see
$100 million
those.
opening by Labor Day.
I don't know if we'll ever see that again.
Boom, pow.
Okay.
West Side Story. Pew pew.
Well, that's not going to be the one. But if In the Heights opens to, I mean, right now we were surprised by Mortal Kombat at 20 million.
Yeah.
If In the Heights opened to 20, 25 million, that would be another pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
But if a movie that opened at Christmas opens to 30 million in any year except 2020, that's kind of a flop. And we're going to be back to that.
Yeah.
We're going to have vaccines out. We're going to have everything back on track.
Hopefully.
We will.
Hopefully we will.
Stay positive here. We're speaking to theater people. Stay positive. Don't just
come on, guys.
They're listening to this Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Don't shit all over them today.
I'm saying In the Heights is going to be a great time for you to play that movie.
Yeah, to me, I think In the Heights looked better. That's kind of where I was going with that conversation.
It's also a long ways out for promoting West Side Story as well. I bet a lot of people are going to forget this teaser anyway. So I bet like come, I don't know, August or September when they show, in a more recent trailer for West Side Story, maybe then it'll get people more excited, especially after, In the Heights came out.
I just keep conflating the two in my brain. I'm both like urban musicals. Where are we at?
There's a modern one and there's a classic looking one.
Yeah.
Classic looking, exactly. Yeah. And I feel like more people are going to be drawn towards the modern stuff, even despite, theaters reopening a lot better in December.
Yeah, Cinderella is possibly a draw because Lin-Manuel Miranda is involved. In the Heights is going to be a monster.
True.
Just because he wrote the music for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wrote the music probably and produced it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. Got to get that producer credit in.
Oh, he deserves it. Okay. So, trailers, not a lot there. We'll have to see how those work out. I'm excited about Peter Rabbit, too. I think that bunny looks so cute.
With his James Corden voice.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got a little sassy attitude. I like it.
Okay.
But we have talked a lot about all the assets that we've been adding to the website. And one of the new features that we got to unveil this last week on the website is after you log in on your dashboard, we added a box that is recently added assets section. So when we talk about these things, or if you just want to know kind of what's new and fresh in the database, you can head over to that new box and click the link and you'll see what what we've been uploading. So what's kind of something recently that we added?
Oh, well, on top of the Here Today assets that I mentioned, we have a whole bunch of ticketing assets for Spiral and Those Who Wish Me Dead. Both of those are about to start their ticket sales. I think they actually start their ticket sales today, now that I think about it. So there is a whole bunch for those two movies alone. Again, with The Quiet Place Part 2, there's probably going to be a lot of assets coming next week. So I would suggest looking into that recently added assets section. You'll see just a huge listing of those coming its way, because they're going to really start ramping things up now.
We even got a few little assets for Army of the Dead, which Netflix is putting out on the 21st.
Right.
But they're, or on the 14th, the 14th. But they're going super limited theatrically. They really only do that select theaters release type.
Yeah.
7-day window.
But you get a 7-day window on it, which is great. And we got some assets for it. So those are on Silver Screen Insider as well.
And if you've seen the trailer, it's a big budget film. If you get the option to play
it's got Dave Bautista, and I love him. I only want to see it because it has him in it.
And it's a Zack Snyder zombie movie. Sold.
Yeah.
The perfect length for him. So there you go.
Yeah, we're definitely going to go see it. And our theater should be open by then. I don't know
Next
if we'll...
week, I think, yeah.
I don't know if we'll get to play it
if
here,
any of the
but...
mainstream theaters will play Netflix based on
yeah, maybe not.
based on the previous, so...
We'll have to watch it on Netflix then.
No, I probably will too.
Tisk. I don't want to, but they forced my hand.
Darn
Damn
it, Netflix.
Regal. And
Netflix
Regal.
and Regal. It's true. All right. Well, yeah, that was it for this episode, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. It's Christmas. Let's wrap this baby up.
All right, everyone, thank you for listening to this episode of the Off the Break podcast. You can find us on all podcast platforms and over at silverscreeninsider.com. And be sure to check out that website if you're a theater owner or manager needing all those assets that we were talking about for all these upcoming movies.
All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Big grosses.
Have a big weekend. Oh, and congratulations to any graduates graduating this weekend. I know our local university is. So congratulations, graduates. Good job.
Bye, everybody.
Guys.